A step-by-step guide how to install and configure 247 eSIM.
So I used to make this mistake every trip. I land at a new country and frantically install my eSIM at the airport with Wi-Fi that barely works. My plane's landing, I'm stressed, and suddenly I'm troubleshooting connectivity instead of grabbing my luggage. So here's what I learned. The when matters way more than you think. In this video, I'm gonna break down exactly when to install your eSIM from and how to turn it on and off, and what to do if something goes wrong. And trust me, once you know the timing, everything else is smooth sailing. So let's dive in. So first up, when should you actually install your eSIM? I used to stress about this way more than I need to, but once I understood it works, the timing became super straightforward, and here's exactly how I do it now. So here's my rule. Always install your eSIM at home on stable Wi-Fi. I'm talking about a few hours before your trip. The beauty of an eSIM is that you don't need to wait until you arrive at your destination. When to install your eSIM is totally flexible because most eSIMs don't finish activating until you're at your destination. So you can install it early without wasting a single day of data. So don't stress about timing. You can install it a few hours before your trip and it'll be waiting for you when you arrive at your destination. Now here's one thing you should double check. Go into your app and look at your package details. This is where it tells you if your specific eSIM activates on installation or in your destination. Most of the time in your destination, but if your eSIM is one of those rare ones that activate at installation, you can just install it a few hours before your flight instead. There's still plenty of time to use your eSIM. Either way, there's no stress and you've got the flexibility. One important thing to remember, even if you install your eSIM early, it'll only work within its coverage area. So an eSIM for Japan literally only connects once you're in Japan. An eSIM for Europe only works in Europe. That's actually built-in protection for you. There's no way to accidentally burn data before your trip. So once you have your eSIM installed, the next step is getting connected, and it's just a few toggles. Let me walk you through both iPhone and Android since the process is pretty much the same with just slightly different menu names. To turn on your eSIM for iPhone, go to Settings, Cellular, or Mobile Data, and you'll see your eSIM listed. It might say Travel or Secondary if you haven't given it a label yet, and tap the toggle to turn this line on. Now don't worry, toggling this doesn't break anything. You can turn it on and off as many times as you want. Tap on Cellular Data, select your eSIM to route your data through it. And here's the pro move, turn off cellular data switching on your home SIM. This makes sure you never accidentally use your carrier's roaming, which is where those surprises charges come from. If your eSIM includes calls and texts, set your eSIM as your default voice line. And then check the app for any data roaming or APN setup instructions if needed. And then you're connected. Your eSIM is now live. Now to turn off your eSIM, just go back to Settings, Cellular, tap on eSIM, and toggle turn this line off. And here's the key thing, turning off your eSIM doesn't delete it. You're not losing anything. Think of it kind of like pausing. You can turn it back on and reuse it at any time. Now on Android, the process is basically identical with just different menu names, and here's how. Go to Settings, Network and Internet, go to SIMs or Mobile Network depending on your phone, and select your eSIM from Airalo, toggle Use eSIM on to connect. Now if your screen looks a little different, that's totally normal. Android has a bunch of different versions, so just look for network or connectivity and you'll find the same toggles. If your eSIM includes calls or SMS, choose your eSIM as your call/SMS preference. Follow any prompts to enable data roaming or add APN settings if needed, and you're done. You're connected on Android, which is super straightforward. Now to turn it off on Android, just go back to the same menu and toggle Use eSIM off. The same deal as on iPhone, turning it off doesn't delete anything. You can toggle it back on whenever you need to. Okay, so now you know when to install and how to turn it on, but let me address one thing I know stresses people out a lot. What if it doesn't connect right away? Now I'm not gonna lie to you, occasionally the eSIM doesn't connect on the first try, but here's the good news, it's usually just a settings thing and it's super fixable. I've been through this a bunch and I'm gonna walk you through the exact steps I take in the order that actually works. Most connection issues get fixed by one of these steps. I always try them in this order because the first one usually just works. First, go back into your settings and toggle your eSIM off and wait 10 seconds and then toggle it back on. And seriously, this fixes most issues. That usually does it. If not, try the next step. If the toggle didn't work, restart your phone. I know it sounds basic, but restarting your phone literally refreshes the entire connection and fixes about 80% of the remaining issue. Give it 30 seconds after restart and your eSIM should grab onto one of the networks. Most of the time, this is the fix. Go into your app and look at the supported networks list for your eSIM. Then go back to your phone settings and check check which network your eSIM is actually connected to and make sure they match. If your eSIM is searching but not finding a network, it usually just needs a moment or a restart to grab onto one. And sometimes your physical SIM or your eSIM can compete for connections. Try turning off your physical SIM temporarily and see if your eSIM connects. If it does, your eSIM is fine. You just need to manage which one is active. This is totally normal. You're just prioritizing which SIM gets the connection. Open the Airalo and look for APN setup instructions, and depending on which country you're in, you might need to add or adjust APN details, and the app will tell you exactly what you need to do. APN stuff sounds technical, but it makes it super simple. And if you're still not connecting, just double check that airplane mode is off. It sounds obvious, but I've done this more times than I want to admit. That usually catches it. If none of these steps works after you try them all, your eSIM might actually have an issue, but here's the thing, 7 support in the app. They're super responsive and can usually fix things in minutes, and you're not on your own here, support's got your back. So there you have it, when to install, how to activate your eSIM, and how to fix any connection hiccups. Now you got the full picture. You're ready to install at home, activate when you land, and also stay connected the entire trip with zero stress. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our other eSIM guides and travel hacks, and safe travels.